Hello, this is Stuart Roberts, founder of Haircuts4Homeless, and welcome to the Hear Me, See Me podcast. I'm going to be talking to people who are truly inspirational to me. Some you may have heard of, and some you haven't, but you really need to hear their story. Hello, this is Stuart from Hear Me, See Me podcast. I met a wonderful lady recently. Yes, she's waving. I met a wonderful lady recently at Northampton Haircuts4Homeless. She actually wasn't part of the team, but she sort of soon became one. She got the T-shirt and everything. And she'd been doing it herself off her own back, going and cutting the guy's hair there. And she was a fascinating person. So I'm going to get her to tell everyone her story. Today I'm talking to Char. How are you, my darling?
I'm all right, thank you. Thank you for having me here. Hello, audience. Yeah, it was wicked. It's a very nice day, and it was wonderful to meet you, mate.
Yeah, it was. You blew me away because you're a lot.
A lot of people have said that. You can travel.
You're a lot.
Yeah.
You're great. You're great. I love people. I love characters, and you got characters. You've got so much character. It's so funny. But the point being was that you was there cutting hair, and really impressed that you was doing that all off your own back. And you hinted to me that you had quite a good story. So you had to come on as a guest, and I think you're going to want to go on to do your own podcast and that as well, which is great. But so take me back, Char. Where did it all begin? What was your little childhood like then?
Oh God! I mean, I could tell you a good few stories. Me. Well, do you know what, Ryan? I actually came from an all right background. Like, I had good parents, worked hard and things like that. And I chose the streets, funnily enough. Yeah. I wasn't bought, I wasn't, as they typically would say, dragged up, Oh. I was well educated. I had my family around me. And I just never fitted in at school. I never fitted in. I did not like school. In fact, I hated it. I was not one of those people that sat there for hours pushing that pen on that paper. I was a creative individual. I always looked beyond what was there, Prime example, what is a brick? I used to look at the brick and say, well, there's sand, there's glass, and all of these makeups to make this brick. Right? So I was never the same as most people and never fitted in. Started getting into fights quite a lot. I started to get like a little kick out of it because I wanted to be stronger than everyone else because, I was bullied, pretty much tortured by others because the way I was different. My mum and dad didn't have much money at the start. They had to work really hard and they started in a bedsit. And now my parents own their own house and things like that. So I watched them graft. So I've always been a bit of a grafter. I didn't need for nothing, but I chose that I wanted more. So I started hanging around with random people, chaotic people, rebels, gang people. And I got myself in a lot of madness, absolutely a lot of madness. And I ended up in jails. Through violence and things because I just became so violent. But today I realised it was a coping mechanism. I was so fearful of the outside world. I just had to cope and it was the only way I could cope. So I built this wall up around me, but this wall really was my own blooming prison, and I responded to life and I responded to life unmanageability of it. It was just pure unmanageability. I could never deal with my emotions. I went from 0 to 100 in like quicker than a Ferrari. I must say. And I was just always angry at the world. A lot of things were done to me as well, but it doesn't define who I am today. And a lot of people come from all different types of backgrounds and gone through similar stuff and have built up this anger. Now, if I'm defined by my past, I'd never be here talking to you. I wouldn't be helping the homeless people and I wouldn't be giving back. And then I got into drugs and alcohol. So I'm a recovering alcoholic and drug addict. And there was always a part of me that I was lit up. I would never have one drink and just be normal. I had to go to the extremes, you know, jumping in rivers with my skateboard as a kid, just throwing my skateboard in the river, you know, and thinking it was absolutely okay to go in this river and go and get my skateboard. Being sick in people's houses, and my behaviour was always more than others. You know, my reaction to life was always over the top. You know, I never had the control on it, and my head would do my own talking, as it would be. I would have 1,000 answers for one question, and I would ask somebody this question, you see, and I've got the answer. Do you know what I mean? So I was pretty screwed up as a kid. And everyone looked at me and stereotyped me because I've got the tattoos and the way I used to look. And I used to have the snapbacks and the hats and the walk with the trousers down low. Ridiculous, but I won't judge. And everyone, like, judged me from that, you know, but I was very educated. I read a lot of books. I was very creative. I done karate. I went in the army for a little bit, but due to circumstances, I left. Then I became a personal trainer. Started a personal training business with a guy who was in Doncaster. Again, due to my drugs and alcohol, I had to let it go because I didn't know what was wrong with me. Yeah. I went to all of these different services and no one could tell me what was wrong with me. But eventually I found an answer to why I behave the way I behave. And I knew a lot of my actions today wasn't because of me just being a horrible person. A lot of it was that disease of addiction. Some may agree with it, some may not. But my story is I suffer with it. And, you know, and a lot of my behaviour was linked to that kind of lifestyle. Mm. So I'm here today, a different person. And I decided to go to an academy and teach, well, not teach me barbering, because I couldn't teach me. But like always, I would have to surpass it. And I went to an academy and done barbering. And I passed there and I was offered 2 jobs in a barbering shop and I turned it down. I just turned it down because on my heart, I wanted to help others. And I started working on the street with homeless people, just randomly stopping them and asking them, do you want your hair cut? And they were so lit up by this, which lit me up, you know. And then I went to the Hope Centre where you and I met and I started doing it there. And now I'm part of your team. Ah, what a blessing.
There's a couple of things you've said there that really I relate so much to you, because obviously I'm an addict as well. I'm a full-blown alcoholic, drug dependent, right?
I mean, we could wave a banner.
Yeah, we can wave that banner. It's fine. I don't tend to, I don't wave the banner too much because it's a law of attraction, I think. So if people need it, they can come. But I don't, and I never judge anyone. Did you get like people coming up to you once they know you're clean? It's like they go, they start to justify themselves. So you're having a chat, you're not even talking about anything to do with it, and then they go, "Oh, I don't have too much. I don't take too much, or I don't drink too much." Yeah, and you think like. I don't give a shit. I don't care what you do, pal. Like, but you're that person they go to, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like when I've gone out with my friends and that, they go, "Are you all right? Are you all right to be around it?" And that, and I'm like, "I'm fine." Yeah. I mean, there's a massive stigma around it, and it just comes from people not actually understanding a lot about it. A lot of people think that you choose to do it, and there's some people that do, and then people say, "Oh, well, you're weak-minded or you haven't got the willpower," and all of that. Well, I'm a very strong-headed person. Yeah. I've been tortured in this life, and I've got up every time, So there is hope, and like I've gone round. I've lived both sides of the world in both different lifestyles, so I can see the contrast, but I've got back up. Every time I've been hit down, I get back up. I'm like a bouncy ball.
Rocky.
Yeah, little pocket one.
Yeah. Char Balboa.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And I've done boxing as well.
Yeah,
and I got to semi-professional in that. So
yeah. But it interested me as well when you said about like quite early on when you was young, and you got into violence and fighting and that type of thing. But because it's a well-known belief now that anger is like a manifestation of fear. So
of course,
it's really odd that the people that are screaming and shouting are probably the most frightened, and it's that maybe getting in before others get you first. So
that was my rule. I'll hit you before you hit me.
Yeah.
And it was the fact that I was scared to be hit.
Yeah, it's odd, isn't it?
But today, like, I'm not fearful. I was never fearful of anyone back then. What I didn't realise, but I was scared of my own shadow.
Yeah.
But it took over time and understanding myself, because I think confusion only comes from not understanding yourself.
Yeah.
So now I've grown and can understand myself a bit better, my emotions, and actually see what life is for what it is, not projecting too far into the future and getting feared up, and not projecting too far back, and living in the past and self-pity. I mean, we all have sorry days, don't we?
Yeah. I had one yesterday. You get a black day, you just can't function. And if you feel a bit unwell or anything, and your head goes, and then sometimes you have to just check out for a day, just to protect your mental health. I think people talk about it a lot now. It's something that people never used to speak about. But
the world is a bit of a boo, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot. It's great now that people can openly talk about their feelings, and I relate to so much to it is the fact that that thing of having to win, like you've got that thing where I can see it in you. You have to win, and it's it's often said that people like us have got a huge ego, but alongside a chronic low self-esteem, which really explains a lot, I think.
Well, do you know what? Right, with ego, to me, it means edging God out. But like, I think you can be happy for yourself, but being humble with it is so important.
Yeah.
Because every day I wake up in the morning, the first thing I say is, I'm going to have a great day today. It's very important. If you start your day off with that every morning, I mean, you should try it for 30 days or something. You get up and your mindset will change. Regardless what happens during that day, it's your response to what happens is the problem. I don't respond to things how I used to respond to it when I was younger. You could say boo to me and I'd say, rah. But today I'm not like that.
Yeah. It takes a sort of an incredible shift, doesn't it? You have to go through some sort of process. We've probably both been through a similar recovery. And you say a lot about knowing about yourself. That's something that I think the biggest thing I got out of a recovery was learning about myself. And even though I didn't change till I was 44. So I had so much unlearning to do. I had 44 years of thinking I was this, and actually I was this. And that's the tough thing, I think. Because it's what you really are is actually quite unpleasant. Like you realise you've got these defects that you don't think you've got. And then you realise you're prideful, you're manipulative, you're a liar, you're a cheat, you're these horrible things. But you have to address it all and see it before you can come through to the point where you understand yourself.
I think it was like, this was my analogy of it. I was born like this giant magnet. And as I've gone around in life, I've got a label. I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, and all these little magnets stuck to me. Yeah. I'm a friend, I'm this and I'm that. And all of these labels that are stuck to us growing up gets our magnet quite heavy. And the thing is, when you get to a certain point in life and you shake that, like, who are you really? Is the question, you know? And I think it's like really important to find out who you are, because some people like what other people like, but really and truly, do they really like it? Is the question.
Yeah. Because
as a mother, because I'm a mum, but who's Char? If my son, when he grows up and he leaves home, well, I'm still his mum, but I don't have to be there as much as I am now, you know. So all of these labels that we're stuck to, I've got this high-powering job and all of that, it can cause a lot of things like depression if one of these gets pulled away from you. So I think it's about balancing. You have to balance in life and find that like middle ground. Yeah. Because it's the pendulum effect, isn't it? It's like the sea. It comes in and it goes out, just like life. Yeah,
yeah. No, exactly. 100%. It's that. Yeah, I often say about the pendulum. You know, it really is, and it's trying to find that balance. Because people like us, we're very naturally like extremes. You know,
I know.
When you were talking about yourself when you were younger and me when I was younger, you know, it's like if you're going to do it, you're going to do more than everyone else. You're going to get worse than everyone else. You're going to people are going to remember you and all that stuff. But then you don't want to go too far the other way on the pendulum, that you end up with not being anyone, you know, not being who you are. So you have to find that middle ground of like what's important to you. And you say about liking people and liking things. When people, if you like someone, generally it's because you are like them. So if you want someone to like you, you have to see where you have got the same connections, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's enough. I've seen you do it firsthand with the guys on the streets or the guys in the centres, you know. You have to have a bit of that in you to really connect. Because I saw you doing it. You had a great connection with people.
I think it's not judging everyone, because it's not nice to be judged. Everyone judged me, but I think it's a natural part of being a human. Yeah. You judge people on the way they look, or the way they talk, or the way they behave, and it's about like stripping all that back and trying to like spin it round. And if you was in that position, like, what would you do? What would it take for you to feel a bit happier? Or the world's a selfish place at the moment, you know. And if I can cut somebody's hair and they're lit up for that half an hour and they stomp off and they're happy, then well, I'm happy. Yeah. I don't get paid for what I do, like you don't get paid for what you do. We do it because we want to help the world. Well, we want people to feel nice, you know, and that one person that's caring about somebody else, it's infectious, you know. You smile at one person, that person will smile at another one. It's a ripple effect, you know. Yeah. And I think if the world could see that there's one consciousness, and everyone works together and everyone aligns, everyone will live in peace, and there'll be a level of happiness, because you've got the richest people that are miserable. Yeah. And you've got some of the poorest people that are really happy with nothing. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you were great when I saw you. You made me laugh though, because you said I can't cut hair when we were around. You can't cut. You lose the ability to cut hair. But that's
yeah, but get all geared up. Yeah. I don't know what it is. Honestly, I swear they start acting up right when you lot come in. I tell you now, I kid you not. Everyone starts acting up, and then suddenly I start going here with the clippers. But when I'm by myself, I feel really confident. I'm doing this, and I'm like, wow, lit up. You lot come, I get all fumbly. Ridiculous, really.
It's some great work. I don't even think that. But it was great atmosphere, wasn't it? I mean, the guy at the end who had his photo done with us all, and he was going through that journey. Ash, yeah, and he was going through, and he's got his place now, and he's actually starting to start working for him. I thought it was an incredible story, you know, just to be a small part of that. It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one person believing in you. If one person can believe in you, imagine what you can do. I mean, the biggest belief is believing in yourself, and I believe in myself 100%.
Yeah. You've not always,
actually doing really well. Pardon?
Yeah. You've not always, though, have you? So you've not always believed in yourself like this. This is not how it's always been for you, is it?
No. I always had this expectation I wanted to live up to. I always had this notion in my head, because media and newspapers and magazines have this ideal person in this ideal world. It brainwashed me to a certain degree, and I wanted to be like that person.
Yeah.
You know, and what I had to find is that I'm not like that person. I think differently, I behave differently, and what is my skills? What can I do? I'm no good on this internet thing, but you know, I can talk to you.
Yeah, you certainly can.
That's it. That's it. But it's the confidence. I think the confidence. I've always been quite confident, but I think it's been more mimicking. I mimicked others because I never had those skills back then. Yeah. I never knew how to have confidence because I was really low in confidence. I was very feared up. But I portrayed to the world that I couldn't be touched. I was dangerous and all of this. Yeah. And it was just a complete and utter lie. I could have been a magician. Smokes and flames.
Smokes and mirrors.
Yeah, smokes and mirrors. That's it. Smokes and mirrors.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating that we are how we are. You know, I've done the same, and there's a part of my life when I was just trying to fit in with different, you know, like if I was with a crowd of guys, like, you know, rough guys, I'll be a hard man. If I was with jokers, I'll be a joker. You know, I never really was me. You know what I mean? I was like, I didn't know who the hell I was, and I'm quite comfortable now, and that's quite a peaceful thing to be. Is comfortable in your own skin. You know, that's something that I've found. So, how long have you been doing the barbering on the streets?
Probably the last. You're asking me a timeline now. I mean, you're going to have to give me a second, so I'm just going to throw out a number and hopefully it'll be there. About 6 months.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So you've done your training and everything, and then you just went out, and then from that point you went out and started doing it.
Because it took me a year to actually. Well, it took me over a year to decide that I wanted to be a barber. I had to get over the notion that I had to touch people, I had to meet people, because I was very antisocial, which you wouldn't think it, but I had all of these issues that I had to deal with. Yeah. But I love it now. I really do like it. It's therapeutic.
Yes, I was just going to say, what do you think it gives you then? What do you think it gives you now?
Peace. It's therapeutic. It really is therapeutic. And it's just that calming, it's the calming response to it. And you can actually take something and see it transform, just like a person going from the streets into a home. It's like a journey, exactly like barbering.
Yeah, it's got, and I think that's the thing, is it? It's the transitions we see that are visual, like the coming in for some guys are very unkempt, aren't they? And then we make them look a bit slick, and it's a great transformation that way. But when you become used to going to these places on a regular basis, you then see the magic happen in their life, and I think that's really it gives you the reward that you need, doesn't it? It's what makes you keep coming back.
You can see it ruins a lot of lives, but you can see like these services help, like with the Hope Centre, with you coming in with us, because it's that another person caring and there's steps to it, and with us talking to them actually helps them have a bit more confidence. There's a bit of hope in there, you know. There's motivation in there, so it helps them grow internally to be external into the rest of the world, because it's hard. Yeah,
I find it helps me so much, though. You know, because what it does, it reminds me of who I am. Because when you get to long-term sobriety, the challenge is to remember what you are. Because
where you come from.
Yeah, you forget. It's so easy to forget, what you are, how you are. And I have a little glimpses of people, and I see myself in a lot of the guys in there.
Yeah, of course.
And I just feel lucky I just feel like the lucky one,
That's why I do it as well myself, because it reminds us, that pain and that suffering that we was in, the sweating, the way we used to feel, and because I will never remember with sufficient force in my mind really all that pain and suffering.
No.
So as you said, as time goes on, you forget that. So it's good to always remember where you actually come from and what you can do to help another. And that's why I always believe in like turning around and helping someone else up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crucial. It's that thing, if you want to keep it, you've got to give it away. And, which we say. And it's so true that that we have to keep doing it. It's not like we get a choice. If you want to stay safe, and level, you've got to keep going and helping people in whatever way you can. I mean, it might come along differently. I mean, it came to me because I was a long-term hairdresser and barber, like for many, many years. So that was the obvious thing. With you, it came from left field, didn't it? Because you was not, but then you had this urge to do it. Or calling, really. Yeah. Because it was against your nature to become one, from what you're saying, that it was for you to do. You had to fight a lot of demons to get to do it well.
Well, yeah, like I think when I turned down the jobs, most people did say, you know what, you're crazy. That's money and things like that. And I said, like, money will come, but I need to do this. And I just started literally on the street, and then I ended up in the centre. And then we're going to open a charity-run barber shop now. Yeah. I've met you guys. I'm part of you lot crew. So it's like, because I turned down an act that could have just been purely self for me, and I've gone selfless. Yeah. Other things and doors are opening now, and I guess that is kind of like a law of attraction, I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's definitely there. I mean, you can get all hippified and read the books and all that, but I think there's definitely something in that. It's the laws of attraction. You attract what you are. And there's no accident. There's no coincidence that as you become better things come towards you, is there?
Yeah, there's no, like, all of them, as you say, hippie books, they're all really good and stuff, to read. But to know something, you have to have your own experience. Yeah. And, through your own experience is the only way you can know for sure. Yeah. You can't really go through life on someone else's experience. You have to go through the process yourself and to find out literally what works and what don't. And what can actually be.
Well, particularly if you're going to be authentic. If you're going to be believable, and if people are going to believe you, it's got to come from an authentic place, because you can't fake this stuff. And you could for a little while, but in the end, you're going to get found out.
The mask will come. The mask will come down. What do they say? What happens in the dark surely comes to light.
Oh, I've not heard that. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I'm just straight out there. You ask me a question, I'll tell you the answer. It's up to you how you take it or how you don't take it. Me, I don't mind. Because there's nothing in my life that I'm...
I've seen that in action. I saw that when a lunch after. When you ordered I want this, I want that. I want that on the side. I want this. Exactly what you want. You had no qualms about... Yeah.
Yeah, no. Because if you don't tell someone what you want and they get it wrong, well, how can you moan at them? You got to just tell them straight up, like, this is what I want, this is what I can offer, and this is what I'd like to do. Slam it all together, and you've got like voila. You've just got to like roll with it, really.
So tell me more about what's your vision for the barbershop?
Oh. My vision for the barbershop is like basically help the homeless, and they'll be free. Literally undercut everyone else.
Undercut, yeah.
And bring in more money, and then just give it back to the charity.
Yeah. So
that's what it is.
It'd be like a CIC. So it'd be a revenue producing business that all the profit goes to the homeless charity.
The homeless charity, helping for food, transport, clothes, socks, personal stuff, like bathroom bits.
Yeah, which is important. People forget. I mean, everyone says about, I bought someone a sandwich and I bought them a coffee and I bought this. They might like a new pair, like a clean pair of drawers if it's a woman, or they might like a dry pair of socks if it's a bloke. Those type of things are so crucial. And a lot of charities do really well with handing them out, But it's just a thing people don't think of, because I get asked a lot and then people say, oh, what should I do? I should give some money and that. I say, well, go down Primark or somewhere and just buy a load of cheap stuff. Just put a couple of pairs of socks in your bag, or a couple of pairs of knickers or gloves.
Yeah.
And then say, look, do you need any? I've got to have them, because it's a really practical thing that people desperately need when they're out there. I mean, you know that.
Well, yeah. It's little things that mean more than money.
Yeah.
Just someone to listen to you, a hot drink, somewhere safe even to go.
Yeah.
To just dress and look a certain way. Just to have clean clothes on, and it doesn't take much. No. I mean, a tenner can get you a T-shirt, a pair of bottoms.
Yeah.
Or, so it all helps, and all of the charities are moving really well together.
Yeah, I mean, do you see the barbershop when it comes about to be some sort of a bit like a hub? So it's not just a barbershop, it's where people can come and feel safe to.
I think everybody that gets their haircuts has some kind of relationship with their barber or their hairdresser. Yeah. So I think it's a safe place to come anyway. Yeah. And I think the community can actually get involved, so they know where their money's going, and they can actually see, they can hear what's going on, they can see what's going on, and it's just like everyone getting to know each other and networking, and everyone understanding a little bit more about actually what goes on in the services, what we can offer, how we can help others, and basically helping people to get to the other services, because at the moment all of the services are going under one umbrella.
Yeah.
So that means bridge, the police, probation, housing, and everything will all literally go under one umbrella, if I'm right in what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what would be good as well, if you had the room, if you get a big enough place, that I think, and if it's somewhere where the homeless guys and women can come to get their hair done and that feel better. But also as a thing for them, what I notice a lot of the time, a lot of street homeless people have to carry stuff around on their backs a lot. And it's when you get time, you can't leave it anywhere because it'll get nicked and all that stuff. If you had a spare wall and you had a bank of lockers that people could, so they come get their hair cut, they maybe could put their stuff in the locker, and then they maybe could go out for a couple of hours with that, not all that stuff to carry around, and come back and pick it up later. Just an idea for you. I just thought it's something that I think I've seen it at a couple of homeless places, and the lockers. Yeah,
that would be quite good, because it is a lot. It is a lot to carry, and it's easier to carry just yourself, isn't it? And at night they've got to carry tents, and there's literally bags and bags of it. But there's something to generally put forward. I mean, pretty cool idea. Yeah, definitely a cool idea.
And I think you get it cheaply, because there's always schools or something selling these locker things off. If
it can be found, I'll find it.
I know you will. And that's the thing, isn't it? Is you don't have to keep buying new stuff all the time. It's great repurposing things. Some place will be selling off, emptying out. Even a gym that's closing down, there'll be all of these lockers. You could just have them on one wall. I mean, even if you had half a dozen, at least it's somewhere for them
It's a start, isn't it?
Yeah, just a start.
Growth, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think the more it's talked about and more that people are aware of it, I think more people will contribute.
Yeah.
And give back and even help, because there's night services, outreach services that are there as well, and they go out and they help, with working girls, other things as well, and there's food places, food banks, and the community does get together.
Yeah.
And I know 100% I will surpass this and it will explode. And then hopefully I'll do a whole franchise of it.
Yeah.
And actually teach some guys and help them to try and learn to barber, even if they don't barber or they don't go into that profession, just some kind of purpose, just to help somebody else. And it's a real sense of achievement when you can actually help others.
Yeah, I think so. It's a complex thing. I mean, early on we did a thing, and there's a couple of people we've helped with a local college to get them in training. Because I was meeting people on the street or in places, and they'd already said, they say, "Oh, look, I've done level 2, I've already done this training, but I now live on the street, so I couldn't carry on." And you go, "Well, look, what about could we take your training a bit further and get you back into work?" And it's still a great idea because we could do it all over the country. Different, like every training school could take on just one person. There's thousands across the country, so it would get people into work. But they're very.
I think it's just networking and communication. The world seems a bit slacky on this communication front, doesn't it?
Well, it does take action, because even that, the idea was there, and I did it, and we got stopped in the pandemic, and we tried again. But because the people that we're dealing with, they're very vulnerable. So it takes a lot of manpower hours. I underestimated how much manpower hours it would take to help one person through. Not that one person isn't worth helping, but there's certain things like that once you start opening into it, they're a lot harder than you think. But it doesn't mean you have to not do it. It's just there's more things to overcome. And that's when you need your heart's got to be strong for what you want to do, because there's been so many hurdles, but I had so many hurdles at the beginning of Haircuts for Homeless. But if I wasn't so passionate about it, probably to my own detriment, because for a couple, 2 or 3 years at the beginning, that was my only thought. And it's probably no accident that I lost my business in 2018, because I think my head was elsewhere. And, but then that's what happens, So I think it's a great idea with the barbershop thing, and done right. It would be. I see it as a real safe space for people. So you've got people. Not everyone would be comfortable going to a place like that, but a lot of guys would be quite happy to go and get their hair cut there. They think it's great. They feel like, well, if I go and do my hair, cut my hair, get my hair cut there, I'm in turn helping someone. There's a great lady, Shelley Line, who's in Norwich, who's done a thing. Like not particularly for homeless people, just for people in need. And she's done a hair care share. So her salon is it's a regular salon, but some people pay and some people don't. And so she's got it on the lines that, I could have a haircut, 15 quid or something. Or if I wanted to, I could pay 20 quid and the fiver goes towards someone else coming in who hasn't got any money to get a haircut. Or I could pay 30 quid and I've had my haircut and there's another haircut there if someone wants it.
Paying it forward.
Paying it forward, yeah. And, she's really done well with that. It's just all power to her. It's a great thing that she's doing up there in Norwich, But, there's aspects of things you can take from different things and make your one work. But I've only met you once and I've only talked to you today as well, but I wouldn't be shocked if you don't pull this off, because you've got the drive. And
I'm going to pull it off. I will, absolutely. Let me tell you again, surpass it. To all you viewers out there, the word is surpass. I will. Because do you know what I mean? Like, I'm talking with teachers at the moment because I'm going to make together a 12-week program to actually go into schools and actually speak to these youngsters about guns, gangs and violence.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of social skills and the social skills and the aspects of the real world is actually not talked about in school. There's just a curriculum. Yeah. You know, it needs to be talked about more, like the effect, the real world. You know, education, brilliant, you know, excellent. But really living life on life terms, we need that to be told more in schools, because kids live most of their life in schools, you know. Yeah. So, yes, I'm going to change that as well. You're going to see me in Parliament.
Good Guy Fawkes, blowing it up.
No, definitely not.
That's the old Char. That's the old Char.
I plead the fifth.
Yeah.
To 11. No, so it'll be good. It'll be good. Like, it will, and I will trudge whatever road. Yeah. You know, I've gone through worse in life.
Yeah.
A few little hurdles and bumps, maybe a few doors slammed, but I'll just climb through the window. You know, no matter what.
I'll climb through the window.
Well, yeah. No matter what, I won't have a no for an answer. If I'm going to help somebody else, and I see potential in doing, and I see a future in what I'm doing, it's my vision and dream, but I want to share it with the world, and the world will accept
it. Who could say no to you?
And this is it. It's the mindset. It's all in the mindset.
Well,
definitely.
You've worn me out. I've got to come to the end of this because you've completely worn me out like you did the other day. I really, really wish you well with it. And, you know, I'm at the end of the phone if you need any help with any of it.
Yeah, of course.
And, it's been great talking to you. So
I know.
I know, it always is, yeah.
And thank you, everyone, for listening.
No, it's fantastic. And what we'll do, we'll put all the links to stuff on that you've got ideas for, and we'll put a link to your Instagram so people can follow what you do.
Yeah. Because, well, I'm going to start my Instagram page and I'm off, and you can all follow me around, like, on my little journey and see what I'm about and see how I respond to the world, and any feedback or any comments or anything that you want me to do, just hit me up.
Yeah, I shall put that link on there. Great talking to you, Char.
All right, cheers.
See you soon.